Okay, so we're gonna try this as an actual tutorial and we're gonna see what happens. We can erase my voice if necessary. Um, but it's Shark Week, or it was Shark Week. And I wanted to do a layered painting with sharks because why not? Now I have brand new brushes. I have no idea what's gonna happen with these. They are Princeton. I got a Princeton wash brush, which is what I'm gonna start with. So this is gonna be a little bit slow. We're gonna put down a layer, then we're gonna outline, and then we're gonna put down a layer, and then we're gonna outline, and um, hopefully we'll have a whole bunch of sharks as they go all the way down in, and it'll be kind of a fun situation. Or maybe it won't. I don't know what's gonna happen. I just know that this is how we're gonna try it, and we'll see. So I think we're gonna start with some turquoise blue. And I'm gonna really, really, really water it down. I know you can't see my palette. Unfortunately, I cannot get the setup so you can see my palette too. But I am using clean water, which I like rarely, if ever, do. But I actually got clean water for this first part. Okay, so on my palette, actually I can probably put that on top. We'll put the palette here for a second so you can see. I have some turquoise blue and I put it over here. And now I am just gonna get water, lots of water. I really want this to be like super, super, super light. And it's water, like ocean water. So that's why we're going with like the turquoise blue, because it's more of like a cerulean blue. And we're gonna see, I hope this is gonna be enough water. Who knows? I hope it'll be enough paint. Hopefully it'll be enough water. Well, we're just gonna get this first layer on, and then we're gonna give ourselves some breathing room until we put on a second layer. Excuse me. So I'm gonna set this back over here, and then I'm just gonna do a real quick wash. That's why it's taped down, because there's gonna be a lot of water on this. So I don't know how well you can see that, but it is showing up, and it's kind of like a beautiful, super, super light color. And we're just using this great big wash brush, which I'm so glad I bought because it works so much better. And we'll have these outlines up for you eventually. I always say eventually. So what I'm finding is I did not get enough paint mixed up for this first part, but that's okay. We'll just get a little bit more, get a little more water. More water. And okay, so that made it a little darker, but that's okay. It's ocean, so I don't care. I kind of want it to go. I want the differences of lights and darks within each layer because it's the ocean. And you see me going up and down, and I shouldn't. I want to keep all the water going the same direction. So I'm going to try not to do that anymore. And we're just going to go back and forth like this. So it looks like water. Okay. A little bit more right there because it just doesn't look like there's anything there. All right. So now we have to wait. We have to let this dry. And then we're going to put another layer on, and we're going to make that layer a little bit darker and possibly even greener. And we're going to do this area that I outlined that's kind of like the weeds and stuff. So I made like a layer of coral seagrass kind of situation up through in here. And once this layer dries, we're going to go up to the edges of that and cover everything else, even the sharks. And then we're gonna keep getting progressively darker as we put down more layers. I only have the first 3 layers drawn on here because I didn't wanna confuse myself as I moved on. So what we're going to do is you can check the outlines. There'll be little sharks, and I'm gonna go ahead and cut those out while this is drying, so I can have a next size down shark, so we can have them underneath, because the further away, the smaller they get. And I just want this to have oh so many sharks. And I haven't decided if we'll do additional layers of the seagrass after I do these first 2 layers. This is kind of a work in progress. This is what happens when I sort of plan, but don't actually pre-paint these paintings. And then we're gonna grab, so I got all these new brushes, which one of them is already missing because that is how my life works. I am already missing one of my brand new brushes. I'm missing 2 of them because I didn't take them out. So I have a round 10, a round 2, and a round 6. This was just the Princeton Watercolor Aquarelle art pack. My brushes have been around for a while. As you can tell, this one's not holding its point very much anymore. So we're gonna move on and try to get some newer brushes to see what we can do about having better control and everything else. So this next section is also going to be really big, so I'm probably going to use the wash brush to do this next section, and then a little brush for these seagrass. Now with the seagrass, I actually have to kind of paint the negative space, so I'm going to paint around the seagrass so it stays light, and I'm going to paint over the sharks again, and we're going to do these little areas and leave that the light blue, and then we're putting in another color. So we're going to add some grass green to the blue that we've been using and make this more of like a tealy blue kind of situation. We still want it pretty light, but watercolor always dries a little lighter anyway. So see, it's dry enough that I can do this. We'll do this again. So there we go. I'm gonna put a little bit more blue in that. I want there to be enough differentiation of the colors that we know we're doing something different. There we go. I think I like that. So I just start with the wash over all of this. It is definitely darker, which is always good. Again, I'm going to try to go back and forth because it is the ocean and I want the water to look like water. So we're just going to add this in. We're going to get some more. Oops. And see, I already painted over what I was trying to leave uncovered, so I'm already messing things up. That's okay. We will just move that to a different area. And you can see I've gone out on my pencil lines. Oh well, we'll just readjust the side of this so it won't matter. I'm grabbing a smaller brush. I have no idea what size I just grabbed, but it is smaller. And we're gonna do right up here these little edges and try to make it an even wash. Want a nice clean edge right here. Now I moved it down a little here, so we're just going to keep making it go down. That's completely fine. Here I'm going in between the leaves, and this might give me like a really cool effect. I have no idea. we will erase out those pencil lines afterwards. And we may decide that this is too much showing, so we may put another layer of edging in there too. So I'm trying to make sure there's no hard lines in this wash. Um, so we're gonna take the brush back up and like lighten up some of them. And so this little piece got erased a little bit, so we're just gonna kind of make one up in here like this. And it'll just be a little bit of something, and if it doesn't really look right, it's okay. We can always paint over it. All right, so now we have this section here that I need to get done. And it's really important to move quickly, and I am spending too much time on fiddly little bits. I do apologize. I do like my fiddly little bits. All right, so we're gonna outline. Just trying to paint the negative space. And again, it's water, so it doesn't have to be perfect. And I know I keep putting my elbow in the frame. I just paint like this. I hold myself up on my elbow. That is just what I do. As you can tell, this first section here looks super, super light now. Because of, we've added the dark, and now the dark makes it look lighter. And I've decided that this is too much light. I know that sounds weird. So I'm gonna make it look like a little bit of a ridge, and I'm gonna add, just gonna grab my pencil, which I keep putting in weird places. And we're just gonna do a little squiggly line here. So this part will stay the light color, but we're gonna put some of the dark green under here too, just for fun, and maybe we'll throw a shark in there later. Maybe not. And I've decided I want this to have a little circle here. Because I like to make everything as difficult as possible. So we're just going to put like a little circle where it does get a little darker. Except just a little bit more of that paint. More water. Okay, so I'm really liking these little circles within this, so I'm going to make some more. Just random shapes. And you don't have to draw them on first if you don't want to. So what we can do when we get to this part later is we can make a shark that's like going through, so you only see little pieces of it here and here. I think that's going to add some nice fun definition within this painting. Or it'll look stupid. Again, we don't know. I've never done this before. I have no idea. I'm just trying something new. And I'm just trying to even out this wash because it definitely is not perfect. Okay, now we're gonna see if I can erase some of my pencil lines if the paint is dry enough. So in each additional layer, we actually have to go around those spots. So we kind of want to make sure they're there, we can see them, and we can protect that. That one turned out really good. I did a good job there. Let's see how this one looks. And this one's probably just we're going to give up the ghost on that. But again, we're going to be painting over all of this, so parts that aren't, it's not too big of a deal. We really want your sharks to be even, and that's really all that matters because everything else is going to get covered up. Okay, we're going to give that a second to dry. Okay, so I think we're ready for the next layer. We're going to do yet again another wash. And this time we are going to leave the sharks uncovered, and you want to keep these edges the same, so try to go around your little things. And I'm just going to go in with the straight turquoise blue this time. And I'm going to go to my areas that have details first. And because this is liquid watercolor, we can lighten it as we do the wash if we just add some more color. So I know it looks really dark, but I think as we put some color and kind of blend it out a little, it won't be as dark. And it is covering all these other layers, which is what I wanted. So. And I always dip my paintbrush on a paper towel just to help collect some of the extra stuff. And so since we had readjusted that edge, we just need to keep doing that. Try to leave the areas light that you had left light before. And again, we need to work quickly, but we don't want to work sloppily, so it's just kind of a give and take. And I really wanted to do a hammerhead because you can really tell what hammerheads are. Um, so this goes right up to the edge here, and I'm gonna do a little thing so you can see it. There we go. I'm gonna spread this color out a little bit. Okay, so now I'm back to this little weird part. So I want to be really careful right here. And again here. Finish the other side of the shark. And I have no idea why I'm painting from right to left instead of left to right, because I am right-handed. So I will end up putting my hand in all of this paint. And who knows why I do these things. Once again, don't be too worried. As long as your sharks are popping out, it's okay. I'm gonna cover this one now. I'm gonna leave that one. I'm gonna be like, that's just a higher up layer, and then these are darker in the depths. Because, I don't know, it's just what I'm feeling. Okay, we got the edges on that, so let's just get this wash on here. And we need more paint. There we go. I just was too low on the paint. Now, actually, right now, I wish I hadn't taped it down so that I could spin it around. Because that would make this next part a lot easier. But I used so much water, I had to. Okay, so this one is taking a lot of the paint that I use, um, or I'm just being way too precious with it. We're getting a bigger round brush now. Uh, to kind of finish up all of this. Okay, it's going on really dark with just the round brush, so we are doing our best to even that out. And as you can see, this layer took a really bloody long time. So I think we're dry enough that we can put on a next layer. I am going to extend out my sea shelf so that I don't have to keep painting around these little plants, because I'm terrible at it. So we're gonna just add a little sea shelf area here and one here that just comes out a little darker. So this area can just stay where it is and it doesn't have to be painted over again. I think that's going to make me a lot happier. I don't know about you. So here it's going to be like a jut outcropping that comes out here, goes underneath. It goes like that. And then this one is going to be like this. Okay, and I don't know if you can see the pencil lines. If you can't see your pencil lines, just use pen. Okay, so then I have little shark cutouts. And the great thing about this is I can do it this way, I can do it this way, I can turn them. So I want a lot of sharks in this next layer. I want these to be my big ones. And on this one, you see that there's some shading and everything else. I'm going to come back to him and add a little bit of shading or mess it up by touching the painting. Who knows what I'm going to do? So I want a little shark to like peek his head through right there. So you're going to see just a little bit of the shark right here, and then the rest of him. I guess that doesn't work for that one because I left that one light. Remember, we're working in negative space here. Sorry. So he's gonna peek his head up through this one. Just a little bit. And if you don't get the outlines perfect, who cares? Okay, so that looks pretty cool. Let's turn him over, and so we have an outcropping here, an outcropping here, an outcropping here. Oh, let's grab the hammerhead and have him peeking out from underneath this one. Okay, that one looks pretty cool. So I don't have a lot of stuff coming in from the side, so let's do that. If they run off the paper, it's totally fine. I think it's like a fun way to do things. I'm gonna flip this little guy over and have him running off the edge of the paper. And I realize I have him going the same direction as I have him up here. So I'm not gonna do his whole tail following this outline or cutout. I'm gonna pick that up and just kind of sketch in a little shark shape. Maybe make him a little longer. Put in a tail. Give him a couple of fins and another like little fin here. So he's going that way because I just had him go in the wrong direction and I didn't like it, so we're changing it. So we have 1, 2, 3 sharks. Let's go with 5 in this layer. I think 5 is a good number. We'll add another hammerhead. Trying to spread out the hammerheads so that they're not like always on top of each other. So let's do this little guy. He's like underneath this hammerhead. And you want them to overlap because that's how we're getting the depth of the painting. And honestly, right now, I have no idea if this is going to be good or bad or just really stupid. I can't tell. Want you over here running off the page a little. And I just have the cutouts because it just makes it faster. But if you wanted to do it with, draw them in between each layer, it's not hard. Sharks are basically a line where you set the shape of the torso and then set where your hammerheads are going to go, where your fins are going to go, and then just kind of connect all the dots. I just didn't want a lot of lines. So it gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, plus my new little outcroppings. So let's just see how that goes. We can always make more. Well, we can't, but it is what it is. So now I'm going to mix black with the turquoise blue to kind of get like a dark navy. And I'm going to use the bigger brush. So, we move it over here so you can see what I'm doing. Yes, doesn't that look super, super dark? Let's put more and more blue. So there's a lot of black and blue. If you go over here, you can see how it's like not as dark. And then maybe our last layer will be either black or navy. I don't know. I don't really know what I'm doing at this point. I'm just playing. All right, so I've got this rocky outcropping here that's going to the edge of my fish. And I'm going to pull around it and just let it be. We're going around the hammerhead again. And yes, my elbow is in the picture. I can't help that. And once I'm done, I'm going the wrong direction. Shit. Mm. So I made a bit of a mess. We're just trying to lift that up a little, and we'll fix it. Stuff happens. It's nothing to be too stressed out about. It's just annoyed. I'm trying to keep clean lines. So this one's going to get darker. But we're leaving that little tip of that shark face down there. We're going to use a smaller brush. Nope, not straight black. wow. Okay, so I absolutely hate this. I do not think it worked out the way that I wanted it to. Um, we are going to try a couple of things to maybe salvage this painting. Um, First off, we're going to go to a little bit of green. And we're going to kind of just outline and give a shadow where this fin would kind of be, and give like a little bit of a top line. And we're going to take some more green and we're going to do some gills on this guy. And I'm going to do a slight extra line there just to show he has a top line. I'm not sure what I did wrong, but this is just really not doing it for me. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to get some black. And I think I have my round 2. And we're just going to do straight up creepy black seagrass, kind of like coming out from the edges. And you just want to use straight black for this. This is my attempt at salvaging this painting, and I don't know if it's going to work. It's hitting spots that look like they got a little too light. Make this one go up underneath that. And since I'm using liquid, I am just going really straight into that liquid paint. straight black. We're just gonna go into areas. So I want a lot of this dark blue to show through, so I'm just getting the straight black and using my brush to make squiggly shapes. So this is the opposite of what I was doing before, because before I was doing negative painting, and this time I am actually painting what I want to have black instead of going through and painting everything black and leaving the blue showing, because I don't think I have the patience for that. I think I'd get too pissed off, because this is just one of those days where this is not exactly what I wanted, but that's okay. It's really not that big of a deal. It's just not what I was feeling. And you can put little, like, I don't know, cliffs in. Like, I like the shading and some of the gradation, but it's just not exactly what I was going for. But then again, who knows what I was actually going for? So, um, you just need some shapes, dark shapes. Well, sometimes things don't work out. So we're using this as like an experimental thing now to kind of see. I'm gonna do some dark shapes like this. And then I'm gonna do something weird, I think. So this guy's over top of that guy, and there's light coming from up there. So we're gonna give him a shadow. Just a little shadow. And that one's not covered up as much, so, but we do have like shadows here. Trying to even out that color a little. Have you ever done any of that neurographic art? So that's what I'm going to do with these white lines to be like the top of the water. And I don't know how it's going to work. It's what I'm doing. We're going to see how it goes. So basically, to do neurographic art, you take and you draw lines all over your paper. With really no rhyme or reason as to why you're doing it. You're just doing it. So here I'm using a white gel pen. And actually, I think this might be helping. So, yay me and my weirdness. Yay. This also helps calm your brain down if you have a tendency to be stressed. It really, like, don't think too hard on this. Just do. You'll see some spots that have fewer lines. That's okay. We're looking down into the water, and I think that that's going to make this work a little bit better. So I think we're going to do a couple right up in here because I like the way this white is contrasting. And we'll do some right here. And I think we need one from here, like that. Okay, so now, and then we kind of have to connect these little guys that I did before, so we'll just draw them. Okay, so then you just round out the pointy bits. So anywhere there's a sharp edge, you want to round it out. So just like really anywhere these lines cross, we're just gonna do some shading, some shaping. Once again, my elbow is in the frame. Oh well. You can darken up lines if you want. You can lighten up lines if you want. Okay, I'm kind of liking that. I might throw some bubbles in. Even though these are all fish, so none of them breathe air. And I'm redoing some of the lines that didn't get to. So I didn't tell you what I was doing here in this part. I'm going to use my white gel pen and put dots in various places, maybe some hash marks, but I'm just kind of filling in little dots and making little circles with my gel pen to just add some more to the painting. So after adding all these details, I started to really like the painting. It looks much better in person. It's a pretty cool thing. And it just goes to show sometimes if it's not working, try something new and experiment, see what happens.